Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'll be unboxing and giving you my first impressions of the smartphone by Realme, the Realme 6. Now there are two phones released in the UK, 6 and the 6 Pro, but I personally think 6 is a better phone for your money because it has pretty much all the specs that the 6 Pro has, and the only slight bit of improvement is in the camera department. Unless you specifically are looking for a very special kind of photography or really high-end photography, then yes, 6 Pro will make more sense. However, if you are a budget user looking to just get by, take the odd photo here and there and upload them on social media, Twitter or Instagram, I think this phone will fit for most of the people. Okay, so now looking at the box is yellow in color, something which you don't see every day, so the color is very striking. Looking at the side, it says Realme 666, so very obvious. Okay, so now looking at the back of the box, in display selfie camera, 90 Hz smooth display, something which you don't see in this budget segment, for just over £200 or around the £200 mark if you go for the 4 gig version. By the way, this is the 8 gig version. Still, it is almost impossible to find a smartphone display with 90 Hz refresh rate, something very nice, and like I said, almost impossible to find at this budget end. Also a 30-watt fast charger, once again very rare in this price segment. Massive 4300 milliampere battery, and the phone has, by the way, got a 6.5 IPS LCD, which should be okay, shouldn't consume that much because the screen is a full HD plus, not a quad HD, so this battery should be sufficient, should last you for a day if you're an aggressive user with 90 Hz, and if you revert it back to 60, then I'm hoping you will even get more screen on time. I will be releasing the battery video for this phone in the next few days, so please do stay tuned. It'll be very interesting for all of us. Okay, also it's got a 64 megapixel quad camera setup along with ultra wide lens, which is quite norm and typical even in budget segment. Also, it comes with the MediaTek Helio G90T processor, of which we heard a lot. It also comes in the Xiaomi Redmi Note 8 Pro. It does tend to heat up if you are too aggressive with the processors. For instance, if you're going to be gaming for prolonged sessions, then yes, it has a tendency to heat up. However, for day-to-day use, camera, social media, texting, phone calls, this is supposed to be perfectly fine, and it can give you some very good, decent performance and speed for a day-to-day user. Okay, so looking at here the box, you can see it's the Comet blue color, also comes in Comet white, and then you got the 8 gig version along with 128 gig of memory and the normal regular typical stuff. So without wasting any more time, let's quickly get started. The good old knife, so let's open the box up. Okay, so here we go. Let's lift the lid up and see what do we get inside. Opening the box, and first and foremost we get greeted with, hey, welcome to a Realme family. Obviously, being a new brand, they're trying to market themselves and be as welcoming as they possibly can be. So let's open this up. You get a smartphone case, which I love. Even though it's a norm these days, but it's always good to have a smart case, because at times when you buy the phone, it's almost difficult to buy an accessory straight away. It takes a few days before it gets delivered to your place. So it's good to give you a basic TPU gel protection. By the way, this is my favorite category of smartphone cases. As most of you follow me, you know already, I love TPU gel cases as they're so easy to put in and so easy to take out as well. What else have we got? We got this quick guide along with all the important information guide. Obviously we can chuck this away, and nothing else inside here. Okay, getting the smartphone out. So this is the Realme 6. So let's put the phone aside and let's see what else do we have inside the box. Alright, so we get this powerful 3-pin UK adapter, a 30-watt fast charger. So looking at the rating here, as you can see guys, it has got here 5 volt and 6 amp, maximum 30 watt as it says, and also 2 amp with 5 voltage as well. So obviously definitely a 30 watt very fast charger, which like I said, is very rare once again to find in this budget segment. We also get this type C USB cable. So this is the Realme 6. Let's have a look. So opening this packaging from the back, there we go guys. So getting the phone out, there we go, in this nice lovely comet blue color, and look at the reflective surface. Even though this is made of plastic at the back, unlike the 6 Pro, which has got a slightly different material, probably a Corning Gorilla Glass, but this is plastic, still looks as if this is glass, and I like this beautiful reflective surface reflecting all my lights. By the way, before we start talking further about the phone, a big thumbs up to my friend Kem, who was kind enough to lend me his unit for a couple of weeks. So the phone won't be with me for too long, guys. I'll try to shoot as many videos as I possibly can, including more specifically the battery life video, which I know people love. On top of that, the gaming performance video, specifically seeing how much it heats up. So let's have a look at the back then. First and foremost, like we discussed earlier, a quad core camera setup. The main sensor obviously is a 64 megapixel camera, along with an 8 megapixel ultra wide and 2 megapixel macro lens, along with a depth sensor also at 2 megapixel. But most people would be using obviously the main 64 megapixel sensor, which has an f1.8 aperture. Okay, so looking on the side, this is where your power button is, along with an embedded fingerprint sensor, which we will test in just a moment. So going along here, looking at the bottom, as you can tell, type C, obviously USB, which is again fantastic at the budget segment. You got one mono speaker, which apparently is very loud. We will also test that in just a moment. Mic and 3.5mm jack, which I know a lot of people would love, as this seems to be a rarity these days. Lots of phone makers are now getting rid of the 3.5mm headphone jack. Along the left hand side, volume rockers, and this we got your SIM tray. The phone can, by the way, take 2 SIMs and also SD card all at the same time, which again is fantastic. At the top, all flushed here, also no problems here whatsoever. As you can see, there's a bit of slight camera bump here, so it'd be nice to protect these with this case. So let's put this case on, the case that came in the box, and see how it fits on. As you guys know, most of you who follow me, I love these cases, these TPU gel cases. They are so easy to put on. However, this one seems to be a bit more problematic, so maybe I have to push the downward side first and then upwards. Tell you what, it is still a struggle, and I don't like that. So probably it'd be best to order something from Amazon, so which fits a bit more easier. So it's quite difficult to put this case on. However, it should be easy to take it off anyway. But as you can see, it's a bit of a tough fit, but eventually when it does fit it properly and covering the smartphone, along with the most crucial thing, your camera bump, which is now protected because the gap is there with the case to protect your camera, along with your LED flash. Now let's switch the phone on and see if you've got some battery inside. We should have some juice. There we go. Now let's talk about the phone and specs whilst it boots up. The phone has got a 6.5-inch LCD full HD plus screen. Also, the phone comes with MediaTek G90T processor, along with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. We have a selfie camera, which is a 16 megapixel camera at the front, as you can see in the top left corner, and we have already discussed the back cameras. We'll take a few photos in just a moment and see how good the cameras are. Also test the speakers, but just a mono one speaker from my understanding, no dual speakers on this phone. The Realme UI is based on Color OS. Like I said to you earlier in the video, Realme is based on Oppo. It was an Oppo's subsidiary. However, they have since last year or the year before decided to sell their brand independently, and now they have their own Realme UI in this phone. So let me just get through the basic setup very quickly, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so here we go. Now we are pretty much done. Welcome to Realme UI, and let's get started. And you're obviously greeted by the basic animation here, as you can tell, guys. So not looking to buy a new phone, tap here for all the usual stuff. You can obviously transfer your stuff when you buy this phone, but we will not do this right now. I will do this later today or tomorrow, and once I have set up the whole phone, then we will go through all the details. For now, let's go to the very basics. Okay, so let's first and foremost get into settings. We can probably get into the display, remove auto brightness. Let's increase the screen brightness all the way till the end, and you can see now that the screen is pretty strong. Also, let's set it up to at least 10 minutes, as we will be talking about the phone whilst we do all of this. Also, I would like to see if we can also turn on the 90 hertz display in the screen settings. It should be here somewhere, so let's have a look. There we go. Refresh rate auto select, automatically select the best refresh rate for an app. Now what this means is basically it will revert to 90 hertz when need be, and if not, it will stick to 60 hertz. That means it's auto select. It will change as and whatever is required. Obviously it's all automated. However, you can choose to put it on 60 hertz manually, or you can choose to pick it up on 90 hertz. So let's do 90 hertz and see how we feel. As straight away you can tell the phone is so much more smooth and faster. Again, let's go into the settings and see if you can get this tap sound working, which I like. So go in there again, ringtone, message tone, and touch sounds. There we go. Now every time you tap, you can see this, it will come up. Let's also get settings on the home screen. There we go, guys. And as you can tell, it's giving you the basic information of how to set your phone up. Okay, the first impressions so far, the phone is a bit on the heavy side. It's not too heavy. It's around I think 190 grams if I remember correctly. Same weight as the OnePlus 7T. Even the dimensions are pretty much the same as the 7T as well. And I tell you what, let me also take the case off, so obviously I can give you a better idea of what the phone itself is like. It's a bit on the slippery side, yes, definitely, because it's a plastic bit, but still not as slippery as a glass phone. So if you were using 6 Pro or the 7T, or say the Samsung Galaxy S20, it would have been a lot more slipperier. However, this doesn't seem as slippery. So putting it next to the Samsung Galaxy S20, you can tell the Realme 6 is a fairly big phone, 6.5 inches in display. Alright, so let's now configure the fingerprint sensor and see how that goes. So first of all, going into a fingerprint, add fingerprint. Okay, just use the password, which I've got to set up here at the moment as we speak. Alright, so now it says let's add fingerprint sensor. So let's tap. As you know, the fingerprint sensor is obviously embedded in the power button on the right hand side. Okay, so let's do this now. Let's have a look and see how quickly it responds. The trick is obviously to make sure that you keep changing the location of your thumb, so it takes the impression of every portion of your thumb. It's asking you to place your finger on the sensor. Again, there we go, to finish off your thumb impression, which it hasn't finished so far. There we go, guys. Done. There we go. So now you can obviously unlock it with your thumb. By the way, the phone is also on a vibration mode, so let's put it on the normal regular mode, so every time it comes on alive, at least we can hear it. So there we go. So now let's try the fingerprint sensor and see how quick that is. Straight away. Wow, this is very, very fast for a budget handset. I tell you what, this is more quicker than my flagship Xperia 5, which I also have, guys. Those of you who follow me, you must have seen videos on the Xperia 5 already. So now let's try the Xperia 5 along with this and see how, as you can see, the Xperia 5 takes a lot longer than a Realme 6, despite this being a budget handset. You can tell straight away that this is far more quicker than the Xperia 5, and this is why the budget segment has become so crucial these days, because people are getting so much for their money, and you don't have to spend £1,000 to get a flagship phone to get all those features which you normally get in top-end smartphones. Okay, so now let's have a look at the camera. Let's get the box here, the Realme box here, and turn the camera on, and without fiddling with any of the settings, let's use it as standard using the 64 megapixel sensor and see how the pictures come out. There we go. So now let's also go a bit further down, further away from the object, sorry, and let's take a photo. Let's get real close and see how it goes. There we go. Okay, it's not looking too bad. Now let's also take one from the back like that. There we go. All right, and also off this R symbol here, and see how that comes up on the phone. There you go, guys. So now looking at the photos, this is me without fiddling or doing anything with the phone, just as standard. Also, let's turn the landscape on as well, which should be here on top somewhere. Auto rotate, there we go. All right, so as you can tell, The picture quality is not too bad at all. Good sharp colors, even though the lighting conditions are not the best. This is night time. I got my LED lights running as we speak, as you know, while shooting, but look at the quality. Striking yellow color, very clear text. Even if you zoom in all the way, the camera is performing admirably. Again, I know it's very easy for a smartphone camera to capture yellow colors because of the obviously contrast, and it's quite high and easy, but still, for a budget blower which costs you just around £200, look at the quality. It is absolutely amazing, and you can't ask for any more than that. And I tell you what, if you take this phone out in the daytime, I'm sure these pictures are gonna get even better. And also the selfie camera is 16 megapixel, which we will try out later in a few more social media tweets and posts. So please do keep an eye. All my social media links are down below. Please follow me should you wish to see more pictures in the next days and weeks to come whilst I use this phone. So camera looks very, very nice for the budget, not looking too bad at all. Okay, let's get into the settings now, and let's have a look and see if we can quickly test the speaker whilst we do this. Okay, there we go. Never ask again. Permission request allow. So let's have a look. I tell you what, the speaker is not too bad. It's quite loud, even though I'm sitting in a big room, but still, the speaker is quite loud for YouTube videos, for Netflix and everything else. I'm sure the speaker sound will be more than enough for the average user out there. Obviously, can't compete with dual stereo speakers on the S20 or the other phones. Okay, so now also let's have a look at the storage. How much storage do we have without installing any apps onto the phone? So going into additional settings, and from here going into storage, as you know, it's a 128 gig version of this phone. As you can see, pictures are taken 12 meg, video nothing, audio 1.9 meg, obviously the default notification, everything else. So out of all of this, 12.9 gig has been used after 128 gig. Obviously, a lot of that has been taken by the operating system. The phone, by the way, is running Android 10, which is again very, very nice, the latest version of Android. And also something I noticed here in convenience tools, if you go in here and then you tap into this navigation buttons, you can change the navigation buttons whichever way you like. So if you select this option, obviously for left-handers it's easy to use this settings. For right-handers, I will suggest this one. Also, one more thing with the fingerprint sensor, if you are a left-hand person, you might find it slightly harder to use the fingerprint sensor. On my Xperia 5, I haven't had much of an issue, but I find it easier to use the fingerprint sensor with the right thumb and right index finger. It's much more convenient. Again, something which obviously smartphone makers have to look at. Lots of people out there are left-handed and they will find it slightly harder, not impossible. You will still be able to unlock your phone, or you can use your right hand to unlock the phone. However, it's not as convenient and as easy as it is for somebody with the right hand. So guys, this is my first impressions of the Realme 6. Looks very, very nice, and by the way, the phone looks quite fast. Everything opens very, very quickly, which I quite like for a budget. And once again, you know, this is not too bad, and a lot of people these days who buy budget end phones are they're looking for speed. But I think with MediaTek G90T processor inside, this phone is ready to rock and roll. It will give you plenty of performance for not much of money. As you can see, it's opening the apps very, very quickly without any hesitation. So guys, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. Any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comment section, and like always, please subscribe as it helps, and I shall see you in the next video.